truly, there is no better book for spooky season. Oh my gosh, what? This little novella was written because it was inspired by a rap song. Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be pulling my TBR prompts for October, and it is officially 100% undeniably spooky season, and I want to pick some thrillers, mysteries, horror books, dark fantasies, etc. So that's kind of going to be the theme for this month. Hopefully I can make it work with these prompts because it's completely random what I pull out, and it could be a prompt that is something completely opposite than spooky season vibes. So we're just gonna see what I have to work with, and I'm gonna try to make it as spooky as possible. And also it's gonna be a little bit different than normal. Normally in the past couple of months, I have been picking out just maybe 2 prompts, sometimes 3 prompts, because I'm trying to finish every single prompt that I pull in every single book that I choose within the next month. And I don't really like that. I've determined that it's not really my style. I just feel like it's a little bit too much like a school project when I have to finish it by a certain day, and it's just not as enjoyable. So I am gonna stop doing that, and I'm gonna do something that works better for me, but it might not work as well for you. So let me know in the comments below what you think about it. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pull 5 prompts, potentially more, we'll see. I think I'm just gonna start with 5 this month and see how it goes. And then from those 5, I will find 5 suitable books. And then within October, I will just pick what I want to read from those 5 books. And if I get to only 1, because that's all that I really feel like reading, that's fine for me. But if I do get to all of them, that would be really great. But I don't think I would, because there's other books that I'm reading that don't really fit into these prompts, like continuing a series or continuing to read something that I was reading this month, etc., etc. So those ones, they don't really fit into prompts, but I still want to read them in the month. And then I just feel like I'm having to decide, in the past at least, between actually finishing my TBR books, even though sometimes I don't really feel like them. Sometimes when I pick them, I'm really super excited to read them, and then later on, I don't know, I'm just not feeling it. I never really considered myself a mood reader, but I guess I kind of am. And so in order to make this more customized to me and to my personality and how I like to read, then I'm just going to have a bigger selection, and I'm going to pick from that selection. So it might be more annoying for you, for example, if I pick a book and you're super excited and you really want me to read it and you can't wait to hear my thoughts about it, and then I don't end up reading it that month because I just picked other books, then that's not that great. So if there's a book in this month that you really want to see me read and you cannot wait to hear my thoughts about it, let me know, and I will try to get to that one first, and I will absolutely make sure to read it within this month. Just let me know. But in general, I think that this plan works better for me. It's more customizable, it's more fun, it's more relaxed, it's just more me. So that's what I'm gonna do. I am just gonna pull 5 prompts right now. I really hope that they're going to be good ones. I'm like really trying to get to the bottom here. I feel like that's where the juicy bits are. So there's 1. Oh, and 1 fell on the floor, so I'm going to count that as number 2. This one. And let's see here. I know for a fact some of these are really going to be hard to make fit in the spooky cozy season, number 3. But just gonna do my best. Number 4, and then again going all the way to the bottom here. This is number 5. Let's see what they are. Number 1. This one, I don't know why I wrote this actually. This is not going to be possible to make spooky season, cozy season at all. This is just completely random. It's the book with the lowest rating on my Goodreads TBR. I will say that I, in general, don't really put books on my TBR if they're rated super low, so I have no idea what the lowest rating is going to be. I genuinely don't think it's going to be lower than like 3.2 stars. I don't even know if it will be that low. So that's not that bad. I can live with that. But yeah, there's no way for me to choose what book that's going to be. It's going to be completely random. It's determined already. It's on my list and it's just sitting there waiting to be revealed to me. So we'll see later what it is. Number 2, book with less than 200 pages. That's nice actually, because I do like reading short books every once in a while, because I feel like when you finish a book, you're just on such a high and you just feel so good and you want to read even more. And I feel like finishing anything, whether it's a task or a book or just anything, it just motivates you to keep doing that. And so I love reading short books because then I feel motivated to read so many more. This one is a book with more than one author. I don't know if there's any spooky books in my list that are like that. I know for a fact Christina Lauren, for example, like they write romance books. That's 2 authors, but I don't really want to read a romance book. A book that's won awards. That shouldn't be too hard. I should be able to find some. A book matching your current season. That's like, literally, I'm not even joking. You cannot read that at all. I cannot believe that I pulled it. That's absolutely perfect. So that literally is basically just like a freebie. I can pick whatever the heck I want within my spooky season list that I already created this morning. A book with more than one author is going to be really hard. A book that's won awards should also be pretty easy. A book with less than 200 pages. I think it shouldn't be too hard to find a book like a horror thriller that's less than 200 pages. I think I could do that. And then the lowest rating. That and the book with more than one author, that's going to be a little bit tricky. So we'll see. I will see you in 1 second when I am sitting on the couch with my computer in front of me. Okay, so I'm on my couch, have my computer. I am ready to go. I am currently on my thriller, horror, mystery, spooky, dark list on Goodreads. I will attach a screenshot of all of the books just so you can take a peek. I understand some of these are probably debatable if they actually belong on this list, but I just put books on this list based on if they feel dark at all, spooky at all, etc. And so maybe you don't think that they are, and maybe genuinely they're not. I've not read these, so I have no idea. But they're just ones that give me that kind of vibe. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and see if I can see any books that happen to have 2 names on the cover. I honestly don't think so. I'm not seeing anything with 2 authors. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to Google it real quick and see what some options are, see if any of them fit. I've pulled up an article, 10 great books by 2 authors that show the power of teamwork. And the very first book on the list is actually a book that I own, a book that is on my TBR, a book that I've wanted to read for a really long time, and I can't believe I forgot about it. It's Good Omens, and it's by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. So honestly, I think probably I'm going to go with that, but I will just read you the rest of the list so that you know. There's also the Guernsey Literary Potato Peel Pie Society by Mary Ann Shaffer and Annie Barrows. Then there's the Talisman by Stephen King and Peter Straub. That might also be a good one, actually. I might just look at that on Goodreads and see. I still think that I want to read Good Omens. However, this does sound kind of interesting, and I didn't know that Stephen King wrote a novel with another author. 4.11 stars. It's pretty good. Horror, fiction, thriller, adventure, mystery, supernatural. 700 pages almost, though. I think I'm gonna add that to my Goodreads TBR, but I do think for this month, I'm probably just gonna pick Good Omens, but let's keep going down the list. Number 4, Beyond the End of the World by Ami Kaufman and Megan Spooner. It's a really beautiful cover, as you can see over here. Then Relic by Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child. Honestly, this also looks pretty fun, and it's also a thriller. I'm shocked. There's actually quite a few thriller books on this list. I might add that to my TBR also. It's interesting. It says, days before a massive exhibition is set to open in the New York Museum of Natural History, visitors are being savagely murdered in the museum's dark hallways and secret rooms. Autopsies show that the killer cannot be human. I do think I'm going to add that to my TBR. It just sounds interesting, and I really like history, and kind of gives me like Night at the Museum, only like the adult horror thriller kind of version of Night at the Museum. And then Welcome, oh my gosh, what? Okay, maybe I should read this one. This is a good one. This is a podcast that's a book, apparently, and I had no idea. It's Welcome to Night Vale by Joseph Find and Jeffrey Craner. I had no idea that it was a novel. Boy, all right, I'm sorry, Good Omens, but maybe I have to read this one this month. I'm so shocked that I didn't know that it was a novel. My friend was so obsessed with it when we were younger, and I feel like I've just listened to it probably 1,000 times, like at least the first season or the first part, because she just would play it every single time we'd go on a drive anywhere, every single time we'd do something together. I feel like certain episodes I truly have listened to 1,000 times. And it's so good. It's fun, and it's like, I don't know, it's horror, but it's horror in like a really weird, fun kind of way. There's no way to describe it. You just have to listen to the podcast. I love it. And like I said, no idea that it was a book. It's 3.83 stars on Goodreads, which for me, I try to only add books nowadays that are over 4 stars on Goodreads. However, because I know that I really like the podcast, I feel like I'd probably like the book. I think I might read this one. This is like the best list that I've ever found. Like, I've never had such success on my TBR prompts with Googling a list before as I have right now. This is amazing. And then, as mentioned, a book right here, number 7 by Christina Lauren. I thought that they would be on this list. Roomies, they suggest. And then number 8, The Royal We by Heather Cox and Jessica Morgan. Number 9, I had no idea that this was written by 2 people. I read this when I was younger. Beautiful Creatures by Cami Garcia and Margaret Stoll. I think that book was good, but it's very young. I don't think I would suggest it to an adult, but I might suggest it to somebody who's like 13, 14, 15, 16. Then number 10, the final book on this list, Punching the Air by Ibi Zoboy and Youssef Salam, which has also a really beautiful cover. Says it follows a character named Amal Shahid, who has always been an artist and a poet. But even in a diverse art school, he's seen as disruptive and unmotivated thanks to a biased system. Then one fateful night, an altercation turns into tragedy, and Amal learns that the boys just being boys is only an excuse for boys who are white. At 16 years old, he is convicted of a crime he did not commit and sent to prison. But his art saves him. I think I'm also going to add that to my list. It's not really like, it kind of sounds a bit like a drama, which is not really my vibe, but also it sounds really inspirational, and I love art, and it's got 4.4 stars on Goodreads, so I'm definitely adding that to my want to read list. It does say genres, young adult poetry. Again, not really my vibe, but I think I might just give it a chance because this book seems really interesting. Contemporary fiction, realistic fiction, social justice. 400 pages, published in 2020. Yeah, that's definitely going on my list. That is all the books on that list, and I think what I'm gonna pick is Welcome to Night Vale, because I just feel like truly there is no better book for spooky season. There's no better book for nearing Halloween. It is perfect. So yeah, I'm really excited about that one, actually. I kind of thought that was going to be a little bit of a letdown, that prompt, but it was a good one. Next up, book with the lowest rating on my Goodreads TBR. That one is going to be super easy for me to just figure out right now. So I added this to my TBR in May, and it's actually really unfortunate because the one right above it is like actually totally my vibe, and I don't know if this one is. I might cheat. I don't know, we'll see. But the one that is actually the lowest with 3.18 stars is Kitten Tits by Holly Wilson. It says it's a surrealist and bold take on the American coming-of-age novel about loss, grief, friendship, and more. It's tagged as fiction, contemporary historical fiction, magical realism, adult coming-of-age, literary fiction, adult fiction novels. That is the lowest. However, the one right above it is Married to a Pirate by Athena Rose, and it's Romancing the Seas, number 1. It's 3.3 stars, and it's about pirates. And I just love books about pirates, and I've not read one in such a long time, and I've wanted to read one for so long. I really would like to read this one instead. You know what? It's my TBR. It's my decision and everything. I'm going to add both of them to my list. So I'm going to have 6 books on my TBR then, and I'm going to put Kitten Tits by Holly Wilson and Married to a Pirate by Athena Rose on my list. And that's that, because it's my list and I can do what I want. I can add 2 books for the price of 1 if I want to. Moving on to the next prompt, a book that has won awards. For this, I am just going to go into my thriller, horror, mystery, dark, spooky season, etc. list. And I'm going to look through all of them and see kind of what stands out to me as something I might want to read now. And then I will just click on it and see if it's won any awards. So some that are standing out to me, some that I've heard a lot about, would be Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm sorry. Billy Summers by Stephen King. I feel like everyone talks about that book, about how amazing it is, and I do want to give it a try. Also, Hasta que su muerte nos separe by Miriam M. Lahardi, and that's a book in Spanish, and it's basically like a funny take on Until Death Do We Part, but instead of Until Death General Do We Part, it's Until His Death or Her Death. Maybe if you're a native Spanish speaker, you can tell me if it's clear, but as far as I know, it's not clear. Su could be his, her, its, or it could even be the formal version of you. So it could even be Until Your Death Do We Part. But I think based on the context, it's probably Until His Death Do We Part or Until Her Death Do We Part. I've also heard a lot about First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. You know what? I think that's enough. I think before I start getting too low on the list and then adding like a million more, I think I'm just going to look at those. I'm confident that Billy Summers by Stephen King has won awards. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. Yeah. Literary awards. Barry Award, nominee. I think for this one, I'm specifically going to have to say it's won an award. So actually, I don't think it would count. But I'll look it up because Goodreads could be wrong. I will just go to Wikipedia. Wikipedia can also be wrong. But so let's see. Rave, review, etc., etc. You know what? I genuinely don't think it's won any awards, which is crazy. You know what is really exciting though in this Wikipedia? It says there's a film adaptation in the works. It says in February 2023, Warner Brothers acquired the project and was developing it into a feature film. So that's exciting. I definitely have to read the book before it comes out in a movie, but it did not win any awards, so it does not count. Maybe I will use it for one of my other polls, but for this specific one, for an award, it's going to be a no. Stalking Jack the Ripper, as far as Goodreads goes, it does not say that it has won any awards. So let me just do a quick Google search. I'm also not really seeing that it's won any awards, so I think for that one also it's gonna be a no. And then the one by Miriam, the book in Spanish, I'm not seeing it's won any awards, but also I don't think Goodreads would show that. Goodreads is kind of quite bad for books in foreign languages. Also with German books, I feel like there's so much information missing sometimes, and sometimes the tags are incorrect. And so if it won an award, I don't know if it would even be on Goodreads, but I'm not seeing anything about it winning an award. So that one also is going to be a no for this. First Lie Wins, Reese's book club pick. I don't know if that counts as an award though. I would say no. So let's see. Wow, it's her debut novel. That's pretty impressive. It was a #1 New York Times bestseller and the Reese's book club pick. Crazy. But I'm not seeing any awards, which is unfortunate. And that would literally, those were the only books that I picked so far. Okay, fine. So I'm going to go back through it. I'm going to see if I can find some more that have won awards. I think I'm going to see about Vampires of El Norte by Isabel Cañas. I really like her. She also wrote The Hacienda, which was a book about like a haunted house, basically. And I think it was really good. I don't think it was necessarily terrifying or anything, but I do think that it was really fun and I enjoyed it quite a lot. And it was spooky. So I'm gonna see if maybe her other book has any awards. I'm also going to pull over and check on If We Were Villains by, gosh, I can't even read the name in that font on the front of the book. That is by M.L. Rio. We'll see about that. And then also I'm going to pull over Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia and see if maybe that one has any awards. So literary awards for Vampires of El Norte. We have the Locus Award nominee for horror and the Goodreads Choice Award nominee for horror, but those are just nominees. So it looks like this one also has no awards. So frustrating. I had no idea it was actually so hard. Like, I don't know why. I just thought I would have found it already. Mexican Gothic, let's see. Wow, my goodness, I think we have a winner here. Literary awards. Locus Award for Best Horror Novel. So this one won the Locus Award. So we already have a winner. And then also World Fantasy Award nominee for Best Novel, Mythopoeic. I've never heard of that before. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm sorry. Fantasy Award nominee for Adult Literature. Shirley Jackson Award nominee for novel. British Fantasy Award for Best Horror Novel. Won that one. CBC Canada Reads nominee. Prix Aurora Award for Best Novel. Won that one. Ola, O-L-A. I don't know if you say O-L-A or if you say Ola. Evergreen Award nominee. Goodreads Choice Award for Horror, won that one. Ladies of Horror Fiction Award nominee for Best Novel. All right, so we have 4 awards here. I'm absolutely going to go with this one. So the winner is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. Very exciting. I wanted to read that one for a very long time. And then the final 2, a book with less than 200 pages and a book matching my current season. I'm just going to take a peek at the ones that I've already pulled up because I've not deleted the tabs. So If We Were Villains, 354. It does fit the season, so maybe I'll go with that one, but it's not under 200. Vampires of El Norte, it's not under 200, 317 pages. First Lie Wins, 384 pages. Hasta que su muerte nos separe, 432 pages. Stalking Jack the Ripper, 337. Billy Summers, of course, Stephen King, 517. All right, I'm gonna have to go back to the list and see if I can find a book that is short enough. For the one that fits the season, I don't know. I have so many pulled up, like so many that I could read, any of the ones that I just listed. I think I'm only gonna go to the list to look for something less than 200 pages, and I'm not gonna go to the list to pick a book for the current season because I already have enough choices and I don't wanna stress myself out even more. I definitely think that that's not going to be helpful. All right, so the shortest one is 59 pages, and that's Undercover by Tamsin Muir, and it's Into Shadow, book number 5. And then Cassandra Caw, The Salt Grows Heavy, 106 pages. 165, T. Kingfisher's What Moves the Dead, Sworn Soldier number 1. 166 pages, Solomon Rivers' The Deep. 176, Neil Gaiman's Coraline. 182, Shirley Jackson's The Haunting of Hill House. So those are my choices. I'm kind of, I think, maybe leaning towards The Deep or The Salt Grows Heavy. The Deep, wow, is actually written by a ton of authors. I guess somehow I missed that. I thought it was just River Solomon, but it's River Solomon with David Diggs, William Hudson, and Jonathan Snipes. 4 authors total. That's crazy. Okay, so it's not actually that these people are authors. This little novella was written because it was inspired by a rap song, and the rap group called Clipping is David Diggs' group. So those are the people who wrote the song and rapped the song, and not actually the book. The book is purely written by River Solomon, but do I want to read that or do I want to read The Salt Grows Heavy? I think I'm going to go with The Deep. I think I'm just having trouble deciding, and The Deep has a higher rating on average, and it was also a nominee for Best Science Fiction. And I just think the whole concept is really interesting. And I really like that it was inspired by a rap song. I think that's tons of fun. So I think I'm gonna read that one for a book with less than 200 pages. And then the last one, a book matching the season. I get to pick from the books that I've already got here. I think the Spanish book, I don't know if I'm ready to read almost 500 pages in Spanish. So I think I'm gonna have to say no on that one. I think also Vampires of el Norte, I don't know, I just would love to read it, but I'm not feeling it right now. Also, If We Were Villains, not so much. First Light Wins, maybe. However, I think it's gonna be between Stalking Jack the Ripper and Billy Summers by Stephen King. But Billy Summers is so long and Stalking Jack the Ripper is shorter. And I know for a fact Stalking Jack the Ripper is at my library and that it's available even right now because I just put this book on my list perhaps a month ago or so, and I just checked at my library about a week or two ago. I saw a Pinterest post about this book and I was like, I have to read it. So I kind of think I'm leaning towards that. Billy Summers, I'm sure it's available at my library, but I'm also sure I'm gonna have to probably wait months to read it because it's so in demand right now. So I think that I'll just read on my own time, not on a TBR, but I think maybe I will add it to my Libby list right now, just so that I already start waiting for it because I do want to read it before the movie comes out. If the movie's actually going to be produced, we'll see. There are so many books that said that they were going to get a movie and the rights were bought for the movie and they said that it was in production and then it just never happened, and I'm just so disappointed, so I'm not going to get my hopes up at all. However, I'm absolutely going to have a ton of fun with these books for now, and then I'll just read Billy Summers later, and fingers crossed a movie actually does come out of it one day. All right, so that was the last poll. I've done all 5. I will be reading or I will be choosing from. Maybe I'll read all of them because I'm actually super excited. I'm excited every month though, so I don't really think that that actually determines if I read it or not, if I'm being honest, I'm sorry. But I've got Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. And then I've got Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. Then I've got The Deep by Rivers Solomon. And then I've got Welcome to Night Vale by Joseph Fink and Jeffrey Craner. Then I've got Kitten Tits by Holly Wilson. And also, for the same exact prompt poll, Married to a Pirate by Athena Rose, Romancing the Seas, Book 1. I am very excited with these polls, like actually unbelievably excited. I feel like they're the perfect spooky season reads. I'm really, really excited that I found out that Welcome to Night Vale is a book and not just a podcast. I'm so pumped to be reading that. I really hope it's at my library. If it's not, honestly, I think I might just buy it because I know that I like the podcast and I know that it's really, really fun and really weird. Like really strange horror kind of weird vibes, and I just love it so much. We'll see what I can find at my library. I know for a fact I can find most of these, but some of them, like Kitten Tits and Welcome to Night Vale, I'm not really sure. Also The Deep, not 100% sure. But I think maybe I could find those 3 at least somewhere, even if it's via a subscription service. So we'll see. I will update you in my reading vlogs for more information. So be sure to check those out if you want to see me reading these and see which ones I pick and see how many I get through in October. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that you all have an amazing day. I hope that you also pulled some really fun prompts if you also do that for October. I hope that your TBRs are all amazing, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.